nervous, but alright. Can't breathe.
Feeling good. I'm excited, and I know we're gonna do some good things, and I think the audience needs to hear it, so happy.
I feel nervous, anxious, but excited.
Great question. I feel a little nervous, a little anxious, a little sad, but I'm ready.
Excited, really tired, but excited. I feel good. I just feel calm.
So excited, but a little nervous. I'm just ready to get it over with.
I just feel nervous to share my story with people. I'm worried about their reaction.
There's excitement, but it's all about keeping cool. And I don't know, my cool is cool with the crowd.
Calm. Pretty nervous. I don't know if that's the coffee or me. This is something that I have never done at all, other than my close friends. Yes, I come from backgrounds where like showing how you feel is kind of like something you shouldn't do. But like I'm just really excited, and yeah, I can't wait to like see the outcome.
Nervous. I'm nervous. I feel a little bit overwhelmed. As you can tell, I'm getting really like hot. I think it's because it's pretty warm in here, but also because I'm really nervous. Oh my god, I'm just anxious to go on.
I'm excited, feeling good, and I'm ready to share my story. Yeah.
I feel nervous, but super excited and super thankful to have this opportunity.
I feel excited, nervous, but ready to rock it.
So again, my name is Noreen. My piece is called Understory, and it's basically a story about my life and my background, about my field and why I feel some feelings the way I do. And I also refer to my family, but that's not just my father and mother and my siblings, that's also my extended family. So when you hear the phrases family, I'm also referring to my extended family, just for some background. Okay. Since I was little, my dad and mom always told me, pursue what you're passionate about and be happy. Because growing up, they weren't given the chance to be. Their parents' happiness was their own. At least that's what it seemed like. I'd say I'm a pretty happy person. I get to care for the planet I love and all the plants and animals in it. I also get to work with people who are just as exciting and interesting as the environment I work in. Yeah, I'm happy. I attend a top university where I get to study the earth God gave us and learn how to best protect it. I also get to experience the struggle of balancing my academic and personal health more often than not, prioritizing getting that golden C over a full night's rest. I also get to stress about getting to the classes I need because there are too many students that need the same ones. Or are there not enough classes for their students? Never mind that. I guess I'm happy if I remember what all of this is for. Working my butt off to reach my life goal to be a certified tree hugger. Yeah, a tree hugger. That's what my family calls me because they can't seem to remember what my major is exactly. They tell their friends how they're so proud of me for going to college to save the world, and they communicate this by deliberately asking for plastic, not paper bags. Or when they throw fits in restaurants when they stop serving straws with their drinks. But when they see someone litter, they turn to me and ask, "Aren't you angry? I thought you were a tree hugger." Yeah, you're right. I am angry. But not because some stranger decides to throw their Snickers wrapper on the ground. But because over the past few years, you've managed to take away the pride I had in calling myself a tree hugger. I'm a freaking ecological restorationist. My calling in life is to restore what we humans have destroyed. You say my studies are useless because, based on scientific studies, the world will be underwater or in flames, right, in 50 years. Yeah, that may be true, but that's also based on how we've been treating the planet. Doesn't that scare you? Oh wait, you won't have to worry about it because you won't be here to see it. You won't have to live through it, but I will. So you can go throw your stupid side comments away and let me save the world alongside those who also care about it. Thank you.
I'm going to read a poem. There's a long story behind this poem. It has to do with a farmer. It's completely unknown to the universe. And he lives in Guadalajara, Mexico, and travels between there and San Francisco, California, which is one of the United States, one of the bigger ones. And this happens to be all about him. And of course, he's an inspiration. And this is the poem I wrote. Homage to Papa Lupe. Labor lives thick in our blood like the humid air in July. I remember anxiously hoping that the university envelopes filled with numbers were made of enough ink to fulfill family dreams dating back to 1929. When farmers in Cocula, Jalisco would lift the sun every morning and then watch it slowly sink as they swung machetes weighted with the frustrations of poverty at stalks of sugarcane. And my father, who split oceans north, heading just to get here, only to be welcomed with words of hatred and the naming of colors, sleeping under kitchen tables and inside bathtubs, going to night school and waking up before the sun, taking loans and cigarette-filled clothing, eating hunger and sweating engine oil. Just so those hardships never touched his children. He had to wipe dirt from tiny little fingers like a bleached baptism to free them of supposed deformities so nobody had to hear the word wetback again. So employers would shake hands at first glance and understand sharp palates rinsed from the planet with clear English syllables rolling off the tongue like a Ford Model T production line. And for me, I still carry stress from weekends at the shop with busted knuckles and hands covered in soot. The cracks in my hands at school that sit like black veins. I lift up rocks, buscando por palabras como una historia perdida, so I can patch together the remains of an implosion. I am the vibrant threads of embroidered dresses de Jalisco, whose needles lead through linens like the dolphins who weave themselves in between the waves of the oceans, amongst none other than the sand and silt de la tierra que conozco. Thank you.
Leaving home and getting accepted into prestigious university, UC Davis, was a dream come true. Now, let me tell you, my family was exhausting to live with. Being the mom in my house for as long as I can remember, because I have 4 blood sisters with autism and a single mom who worked day and night shifts, was hard. I felt guilty being happy leaving, but I was also finally leaving. First few days at UC Davis, worst days ever. Nobody ever told me that we actually had to study for exams, be in a room full of 200 plus students, be with a bunch of privileged people who had everything. I always had that thought in my mind of, why can't that be me? Now this may sound crazy, but I actually did not know what I was getting myself into. I went out to party every weekend, but believe it or not, I drowned myself with alcohol so that I can feel something. And I thought all these friends were so much fun. I just wanted to be happy. It was so much fun, but it didn't last once these friends left. And now what? What do? I just wanted to be happy. I was scared of everything in the university. Professors, classmates, staff. I mean, everything. I would never come home because why did I want to listen to the stress and problems back home? But I did call my partner and my best friend, and it would feel so nice for a few minutes. But I was alone again. Did I make a mistake? Am I even supposed to be here? I felt so dumb because I was in academic probation and subject to dismissal so many times. it too late to go back? It was too late to go back. I felt like shit. I did not realize what I got myself into. Fast forward to the very beginning of my 4th year. I couldn't do it. Getting out of bed was the hardest thing ever. Yes, I would sleep for more than 9 hours and take frequent naps. But I just stopped hanging out with everybody. Things happened, and I had to stay at the mental hospital. During my stay at the mental hospital, I started thinking a lot. I don't know. I honestly felt like a failure. What am I doing? Was this all worth it? Was it the right decision to leave everybody I love back in LA? 3 weeks later of being treated, I volunteered to leave because it was a really bad place. I took the whole year off. While working at Target doing overnight shifts, I saw an email that said, now hiring peer advising counselors at EOP. I went for it. I applied. I don't know what gave me strength, but I know I wanted to help students like me not make the same mistakes. I was offered an interview and I was still not in school, so I went on an overnight bus to the interview and an overnight bus back to LA. I was waitlisted, but then accepted to the position. I felt a rush of anxiety. Now I had to go back to school. I didn't know if I was ready, by the way. Fast forward, best decision ever. It was so hard to believe in myself, but all the staff and coworkers believed in me. That's where I learned the struggles of being a first-generation student and the imposter syndrome. It felt amazing being needed, presenting and making events to help others like me. I don't know what got to me, but I decided to apply for grad school. A month before the application was due, by the way. My EOP family supported me and I ended up getting an interview with a 2.7 GPA. I was waitlisted to the program. This is a pattern of being waitlisted. I didn't give up. I planned for the worst and was looking for full-time jobs. Then, while I was in class, I got an acceptance. I am now in my 2nd semester getting my master's in counseling at Sacramento State. I want to thank everybody that supported me and continues to support me. My story isn't over yet, and it's just only getting started. I still have many mental disabilities, and there's no way to fix them, but I learned to live with them. For any first-generation student that wants to give up, please don't. Please seek for help. I promise you will find a community in a big, lonely university. You are needed, and you worked hard to get in. It was not a mistake. I know the many views towards counseling, but I recommend everyone to go. You are not alone, and you are not a failure. Go seek for help. I believe in you all. Thank you all for listening to my story.
Hey y'all, my name's Vera. And for context, I lost my mother in November. It's been pretty rough. But I felt like for this, I wanted to honor her memory by making my piece about her. So, yeah. So, Mookie Betts was just traded to the Dodgers. I understand that, since I was born at Centinela Hospital and that I was born in the heart of Inglewood and that my grandpa was an avid Dodgers fan, that, I should be happy, right? Well, I'm still a Red Sox fan for life. And despite this, that name, Mookie. Instantly, with this name, I am transported decades. I hear her gravely but loud voice call my name with all the love in the world. Mookie. So my mother, grandmother too, but what do you call someone who raised you from birth? Mother. My mother used to love idioms and strange catchphrases, like, I'm a little piece of leather but well put together. I have always wished I could use that little slogan myself, but I'm 5'10" and 200 pounds. My mom was all of 90 pounds soaking wet. Yet, she was not to be trifled with, much like me. I am my mother's daughter. Immovable and strong, fierce. Those 90 pounds were ready to fight you or anyone. I promise you, on anything. She was real. And I now know that even without blood shared between us, that I am her mirror. I am a Scorpio, but she, a beautiful Gemini on the cusp of Cancer. Yet Cancer had the last say. I am Mookie. No, not the baseball player who I love dearly, even if he's no longer in Red Sox uniform. But I am my mother's strength and determination, her dry humor and refusal to take no for an answer. I am my mother's ambition, her unwillingness to allow money to ever be an issue. I am my mother's wish for all of her children to go to school for more than just a diploma. I am my mother's vinyls of Nina and Nat King Cole and Sly and Al Green. And I am tired of being alone. But I rejoice in the fact that I am my mother's brilliant mind, spongy, retaining, open. I am her blackness, her cornbread and greens, and her wit, her motivation, and her piercing brown gaze. To thine own self be true. I grew up, got grown, right? Attended 3 community colleges, got to UC Davis, and learned at UC Davis that this was not a biblical quote. I didn't read in high school, sue me. But my mom, I'm sure, knew that this was a Shakespearean quote. In Hamlet, Polonius says this to his son Laertes. And I can't count how many times she said this to me at all. And now it's deeply ingrained. It has manifested into my relentless ambition, strength, and never say never attitude. I find it funny how it was a Shakespeare quote that kickstarted my academic journey, from scholastic book fairs till now. Me finally graduating after 11 years of college with a bachelor's degree in English. But somehow I think she always knew, and I'll always be grateful. Forever yours, Mookie.
Title, Love and My Hate. How do I hate with so much love? How do I explain what I don't know? How do I communicate love to the person who broke me? How do I tell my father that I hate what he did to us, but love what he's given me? I promised you that being gay was a high school phase. My promise in return for a stable home. My promise at the convenience of maintaining a collected family. I am broken pieces holding a collected family. How do I save a mother financially abused by my father? How do I explain self-worth to a mother mentally trapped by an alcoholic? How do I explain the psychotic break of a mother who became committed at a psychiatric ward at grade 6? How do I explain seeing a mother contemplate suicide to escape a man in front of her children? How do I explain running back and forth collecting broken parents whose pieces can't be separated from each other? How do I merge the person you see me as the person I am at home? When will I become authentic and one with who I am? I'm tired of adapting to surroundings. I'm tired of chasing after drunk parents post-argument at 3 a.m. before they kill themselves. I'm tired of being a step ahead to pick up the mess. I'm tired of the camouflage I wear. When do I reveal my true self at the cost of a family? When do I love myself enough to ruin relationships? When do I say the people around me are enough? When do I grow the fuck up and take responsibility for myself? When do I give up financial support from a dad who made me promise not to be gay? When do I tell my brothers I love them? When do we process the drunk torment and abuses of our parents? How do I forgive myself from leaving them behind in San Diego? How do I support them when I'm barely managing day by day? When does the weight I'm bearing find a new host? When? How do I take that step? When do I take that step? When do I stop drowning myself in school and start swimming in reality? When does the payoff become visible? How do I explain who I am? I still don't know. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am young again. You make me feel that fresh fear again. You bring me back to those hurt tears again. So small and raw, full of life, I want to be that me again. However far away, I will always love you. Far from home, all alone, you've always been my comfort. Blind to the truth, you are my noose. Do you know I suffer? However far away, I will always love you. You make her cry and want to die. Do you even love her? Since the start, stuck to your heart, my one and only mother. However far away, I will always love you. However long I stay, I will always love you. Whatever words I say, I will always love you. I have too much love to accept your hate. I will never stop to wait. So much reason to hate you, leave you, ruin you, standing tall to see it through, because in the end, I love you.
Hi everyone, my name is Isaiah, and I made a poem originally titled Growth, but I retitled it Better Days. Wake up, it's time to rise, time to wipe the crust from your eyes, open the blinds just to remember there's no sun in the sky. What is it that constitutes my growth? I think it's becoming politically woke. It's realizing the odds you're up against. It's realizing how much knowledge has been fenced. It's walking through campus with your chin up high, but it's hard to look people in the eye when you think you don't belong. Affirm to yourself to stay strong. Bite the bullets and bite your tongue, or end up dead, you're not too young. Stay silent or die loud. Grow up and make your parents proud. Don't end up doing drugs. Say this as your smoke enters my lungs. Don't end up dead like your friend with a knife in his chest. Remember to always do your best. Watch the lecture slides as they quickly pass you by, scrambling to remember only to forget, always trying to redefine success. Wanting to go home wherever it may be, just to re-realize why you wanted to leave. It's hard to stay strong and self-affirm when all your dreams rely solely on the ability to learn. But those dreams keep me going. My success relies on me growing. To understand the biases they teach, beyond expectations as to what I reach. Not of those set by others, but of myself, to set the bar and raise it like no one else. My family depends on my success, and my success on nothing less than my best. At the end of the day, when I'm done with work, I think about liberation, and it always irks. If I was truly emancipated, I could be me. I could depend on my parents, and college would be a breeze. But the reality is simply the reverse. I may miss a note and begin to curse, but I always stay on the same beat with 10 toes down. I stand on my feet. Every day is a struggle. I have to think that this is my hustle. Studying is a replacement of selling on the streets. Every day I come to terms with defeat. But there is beauty in the struggle and ugly in the hustle. Resilience is the result. Now this is a story needed to be wrote. Sometimes I just wish for better days to be able to live and maintain, to live with the daily pain, to have a day where I'm fully sane, to succeed in my grandma's name, and simply to not be ridden with stress and guilt. Born to resist the struggle is how I am built. But to stress I purge, and to guilt I cope. What really constitutes my growth? I think it's only hope. Thank you.
Right. Self-love. Who has it? Who working for it has grasped it? Surely they didn't teach this in the hood. My mom had 3 jobs, so who could? Not the men who live to breathe and can't call every woman they see. Not my brothers, but who knows? In the land of Me Too, whoever really knows. I have to go to school, have to get good grades, offer the job to get good pay. And I don't hate you for hurting me. This is for everyone. I just want to love myself and be one person, not 2 or 3 or 4. Not me with you and with him a whore. Not smart at home and scum at school. Not a role model but also a fool. Not poor or dead broke, but rich in life and resources. Everything I learned is from the streets and these courses. Who knows if I'll ever make up my mind? All I know is this is my time. It's our time. I don't own it. How did you learn to get better, Karina? How do you know this? What is the lesson? There's a first time for everything. I am first gen, college student and Mexican American, privileged in ways I could never think in. UC Davis? I have to buy a new bike, or catch the bus, or take a hike. I walk my groceries, and my shoes are hand-me-downs. Can feel the soles wearing to the ground. What did I do to get here? Worked my ass off in public school. What did you do to stay there? Smoked every day. I am aware. Who is the fool now? Still me. Only the rich follow these rules. Hood has its own policies. Here I am. The fool is still me. Hoping everyone can find it in their hearts to plant a tree. Why did I come here? To learn, to get away. Every day I make the decision to be good and bad. Baby, because I know the rules of the road. Rules my body does not have, baby. Good for rules and smart for myself. No, good for rules and bad for myself, baby. I'm scum at home and smart in school. Both a role model and a fool. Learning self-love, I am self-taught. The block could not teach me, it was too hot. My mom could not help me, she was too poor. The patriarchal machistas told us we were whores. My brothers only learned how to be men. For that to be possible, someone has to feel less than. It took me till today to realize I'm not a cartoon. They are buffoons. I am a real person with real feelings. I'm a real person with real feelings, and when I reach, I break the ceiling, and you couldn't imagine how I feel. My experiences are different, fluid, so vast and fast. Now I'm lightning, and I was never a cartoon. I want to make movies, music, and write. I cannot choose, but I see the light. Someone brought me here. Was it you? Give me the answers. Give me a clue. I love you. Who? I love me and you. Thank you, guys.
Begin. There's a background to your mind where you fight to gain strength. Wearing the appropriate dress to match some character a superior class is expected in the field. Picking that manner of dress tells you your commitment to titles, separating you from what you were, freeing you from your mental block. But those titles will again trap you, like stone walls meant to protect your stable conformity. All of these titles confer strength as you climb from level to level, but you are still the same person when masked by your earned titles. What is the meaning in a title if it is only fit to show your achievements? Continue. War within your mind. Control what is your battle. Nothing is forever written because nobody wrote it for you. You wrote it yourself. I am walled behind thoughts too dark to appear, contained down the wells where trials lie. No amount of money can comfort be bought to silence these plots. No single wish be stable to bring these youths back to mild. No cherished woe can calm the man as they induce these wild cries. Appearing out of darkness and clad in iron, adored in chains, laughed each pathetic child, hoping to adopt the costumes that flickered and morphed out from the unknown. A cloak to darken malformed minds scraped the floor, leering at bodies unscarred by the light. Each of their eyes contained the same gray pale hues of night, even as ashy husks of humans they once were. Ideals gave them vigor, life. Some dreamed to continue while praised in the nightly dusk. Whether time runs out for these troubled dimes does not matter, for the battles will be remembered in every scar that they chose to get engraved. Many will wave their swords in fearful fever, where no wish can line the clouds that have hung from a depressed cleaver. Many will wave, but don't be afraid, for we will take it as a stride. But be afraid, for I will take the tide. and scrape it over the fire, turning it over, lighting anew. May it not take the form of war, where bodies are lit as high-strung weavers, atoning for past deceivers. The ground will forever be stained in our blood, all too familiar, your stains will become. The sun will rise over the pale darkness, lighting the field in a flurry that shines without truth. While the well sits molded brick, rising high to contract our shame, the wall sounds strong. Isn't it so that the wall is our test, immobile, beckoning us to disappear over the grain, but unable to shake off all of the bloody grain? Returning so weakly will only dishearten the children that view these ashy husks with light in their eyes. But even so, to cast away these golden chains that once made us childs, the wall will require our deaths to sustain these stains. Other knights will climb, shaking off the title of child given to them long ago, for the truth hides behind the wall. If there is violence, it will not escape our code. It was written deep, deep in the blood, staining the wall, staining the well, where everybody was thrown down. Tears will mingle into the rain, evolving with anger, all for the titles I've gained, where every knight held the other in agony, but where their weaknesses and tears were drowned out, crying aloud to the night in the green field where the ashy husks lie. Each would hold the other in agony. All would be born with the unending shame and the loss of their weak but cherished title as child. Child who believes that such a state worthful when reality commands strength to come from its death, to be replaced with merit and roles built for the humans to cast war on the stress around them. Adult, the trouble that plagues the field, but not the role which will heal this ward. Thank you.
So when they told me to do this, I wasn't really sure about it because it's not something I really do. But screw it. On the paper it said that the title of the piece was called "The Dream," but it's more like homage to home. This one's for the homies, for my friends, for my bros out there, for everyone that got me to where I am right now. So here we go. I grew up listening about the Black rulers, the Black Panthers, the Black Strivers, the motivators, the haters, the people around us. I heard about all of them. I come from bald heads and Cortez. Nah, not the last name, but they still yelling, fuck the feds. I come from where meds weren't meds, Pops was in bed, and Mama had work up to her head. People lived in sheds, cars, bars, and what? I was barely in the 5th grade, transporting up until I found my trade. Sports was the name of the game. It was my claim to fame, and in the end, it brought nothing but shame. Growing up in the hood is often misunderstood. Teaches you life lessons you never thought it could. How to survive and hustle, but now you don't need no muscle because you're walking down Russell. Now you made it, or so they say. I asked my mama for help, and she told me to pray. Pray that my mind expands in ways I never thought, even though before there were ideologies I often fought. Pray that my low-income education is enough, although growing up, all I cared about was being tough. Shit, life was tough, but I'm here to say that you and I are enough. Rise up and overcome the struggles of your past, because often we leave our mental health last, not realizing that that's what's gonna last most. Now, I ain't trying to boast, but us first-gen students are gonna rule coast to coast. Now, I ain't done yet. They told me this is out of my comfort zone. I said, bet. I'm uncomfortable with being comfortable. The mere thought of being a failure is laughable because everything is conquerable. Happiness in the hood is radical, but it's just because everything is so damn radical, not knowing what's gonna happen next. But isn't that the best? Possibilities, abilities, use them. Because when we at the top, you're for sure gonna confuse them. And that's the truth for this young ghetto youth. Find happiness in the little things, embrace your struggle. Never be ashamed. Be proud, be loud, and don't forget the hood, Inglewood.
Hi everyone. So basically for this piece, it's basically about my trajectory here when I left Mexico. I left Mexico when I was 15, and yeah, I'm excited. This is the first time I get to do that, or get to feel exposed in front of a crowd of people. Let's do it. All right, I titled it "Embracing the Clouds," and it goes. My head has been on the clouds of despair, clouds that have been chanting for me to fail, stormy clouds, filled up with negativity and darkness, clouds that needed to constantly be pushed away by me. I will try to talk, hide, get busy, but I will never feel any better. Patience will seem unreal when unexpected to master it in our big cloud. Sometimes talking will feel useless and good intentions wouldn't satisfy. Sometimes I will feel like the more I was trying, the less I was feeling. And the less I was feeling, the less I was living. Sometimes I could not smell the flowers and would feel empty for hours. And overthinking will only make more struggles. My mind will sabotage my thoughts, and my thoughts will run for miles. Happiness, anger, sorrow, passion, love, disappointments, all crushing, dreams, wonders, fear, pessimism, questioning and talking shit about myself, doubts, doubts killing more, throwing the dice of fear and playing the cards of doubts, doubts killing more dreams than failure ever will, insecurity deep inside me, feeling detached, not feeling deserving, me, feeling empty, endless echo, me. Am I enough? Do I belong? Am I just taking someone's seat here? Am I losing myself? Is this fear? Is this me? Answers I will search, but I could never find out. I will just suck everything in, and I was stressed out. You will see me exhausted, but asking for more. You will see me lonely while being surrounded by some. I hated not being able to fit in, not being able to speak English. I hated when people told me that I couldn't do it. Sometimes words will be a substitute for a fist. Sometimes I just wish I wouldn't worry about anything at all for the first time. This big cloud has shaped me this way. What can I say? I have to adapt or react. Although I'm aware of my existence and my beautiful, beautiful life, I'm aware of my privileges, but I'm aware that sometimes they're not enough. I'm aware of this colonial and capitalist cloud, a cloud paying little attention to anyone's background, a cloud that forces you to put yourself to last and forget about the sound. A routinary cloud. People are always busy, people are always tired and without time. And the weight of society falling upon of me the same way. Carrying discomfort, carrying silence, but also carrying my siblings' burdens, sorrows, dreams, and existence. Product of unreasonable, standardized expectations that follow us for the rest of our lives. Craving for a better self, craving for some success. Success that might look different for everyone, so don't stress, that's what they say. But I was born thirsty for success, like no one else. With goals so strong that obstacles, failure, and loss only acted as an excuse. I have pushed my hardest without giving up dreams without an excuse. You have seen me making my own expectations about everyone's. You gave me a few opportunities and I didn't hesitate for once. I made sure I took them all, every single one. The truth is that I find motivation from the small things. I find motivation from the clouds being hit in a warm sunset. I find motivation in my parents' eyes that have watched me grow. I find motivation from my parents' hands that have worked hard to feed me. I find motivation from my family's smiles that mean the world to me. I find motivation from my friends' arms that have lifted me up and supported me. I find motivation from positive and negative people's mouths. Because of them, they speak of me. But also, I find motivation from nature because when you open your eyes, it's beautiful in here. I find motivation from where I come from, Iquilpan. I'm from that obvious broken accent for which I'm proud of. Yes, It's me. I own it. I'm from strong morals, from my dad saying, échale ganas, estamos orgullosos de ti. And from the first time leaving home and hearing my parents saying que me aman. I'm from the hard work my previous ancestors have gone through to get me this far. I'm from promises made, from making my family proud, for all these daily sacrifices. I'm from the trust that I gave my parents when I proved them that I could live by myself. Maintain me, alone, solo, Mr. Independent right here. I'm from those moments that make me try to be the best version of myself daily. My goal has been to be genuine, honest, and kind as I can be. To enter a room and live it, making people feel better. To have meaningful conversations that add value into our cloud. And no, if you were to ask me, no, I never thought about coming to the US at age 15. No, I never thought about leaving my family, my friends, or my life for a new one. No, I never thought about finishing high school in 3 years, nor being a speaker at the ceremony. No, I never thought about attending UC Davis after high school with a full ride. No, I never thought about earning trips abroad to Japan, Israel, Palestine, or Thailand. No, I never thought about being an advocate for my community. No, I never thought of becoming a president twice. No, I never thought of being a member in an honor society. No, I never thought about the possibility of working on an honor thesis for my graduation. No, I never thought about being involved in research at all. No, I never thought about being a potential PhD candidate after I graduated. No, I never thought about being the first of many. No, I never thought about being who I am, who I will be. Or did you know all of this of me? Me? Afraid? Don't you know I'm unstoppable in your cloud? The rumors were true. I'm that person you might feel intimidated by. I was that broken elevator when I started. Now I'm the elevator heading to the top, beyond the clouds. We fall, we break, we fail, but then we rise, we heal, we overcome, and that's how we rose here. In the end, embracing all clouds makes us resilient. But this doesn't end here, right?
Making enemies is something I can be very good at. Yet my heart craves anything but. 18 years on this earth and already so much anger. But with that, even more deep and endless love. Love that holds me ever so delicately when I'm giving out. My light faintly twinkling in the distance when things get tired and my soul is completely rendered. Those that hold my heart and show up in my mind to wake me every day are only to select you. So much. Yet for some reason, it still isn't good enough. There is always something greater, bigger that can be achieved. So many goals that I have in my head, and things I must finish within a set amount of time. Time is my biggest enemy, and my impatience may kill me, but my utter infatuation with this love and life may be the one to completely break me before I go. Go is all I have to do, yet it aches to start sometimes. And I can hear her laugh, and his yearning cries for forgiveness. Their smiles and voices replay in my head because for them is why I've made it this far. Because of them is why I am first of many. But to be honest with you, I'm distracted. Their laughs are all I can hear, and at first it was motivating, yet now it seems to be the only thing that I can hear. And I realize that they laugh at me. They're my everything, encouraging in there, and even though they do laugh, they still are my everything. He is still my everything. Although he has kicked and screamed for me to change and be better and to focus, I am so distracted. The way it is so simple to convince someone that they are nothing and too stupid to ever try and be anything at first seemed unfathomable, yet now I understand it. They've done it to him. He feels as if he is nothing. And so he made her feel it too. And she believed him because he was her everything, and I watched as she slowly lost herself and decided to make him her whole world. Lines between the lines between love and hate became blurry. The shoving, the slapping, and the screaming now replay in my head, and so I'm distracted. She dwelled and overthought. She dwelled and overthought, and so too she taught us, and we used this to survive and still do. Up until this point, it's helped me survive. Look at me, I've made it into college. But a day in the life at UC Davis is one in which I overthink and I become distracted, first of many. Certainly not the last, but maybe the only one to have found the skills to barely survive it. Her burning tears fell on my face that day when she told me she had given up, and that her freedom meant nothing. It meant that we would all stay sane. And he knew it too, but he miserably accepted the fact that they were too comfortable to move. Too many people are afraid of being alone. This is all I know, and so my deepest, sincerest apologies for being a little bit distracted today. They laugh. I laugh. They're exactly the same, loud and booming. We have all been taught the same, yet some of us have outgrown it. I watch them change and grow, sometimes being stunted by myself, holding each other back to try and keep up. They smile. I've smiled. We've all grown in the same area, transfixed on the idea that someday we'll be the tallest, happiest we could ever be. Someday. Never today. And I've tried to move, yet something always holds me back. Maybe there's comfort in it. But it's hard knowing that there's more. And no one seems to understand, yet there's comfort in that too. Now, I don't live in love, and it's hard to, but I try, and I know that they do too. And it's nice to know that I'm not the only one, but it's hard to understand why I'm the only one that seems to want to change. It's frustrating, actually, because they watch as I move, and they judge as I keep pushing. They laugh. I break. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
On the night of this year's Academy Awards, director Bong Joon-ho said, "The most personal is the most creative." A quote from another director, Martin Scorsese. In this vein, I will share with you all a pretty personal story, the story of when I was removed from my family. I was 13. It was a warm summer evening as I returned home from wrestling practice. By this point, I had become wise to my parents' relationship. There was always a first span of time that was nice, peaceful, a time in which they really seemed to love each other. Then there was always a second period of time in which things were incredibly tense, a time in which fights would build and build until a moment of crisis. Many of us know this behavior well. We were deep into the tense time. So I knew what to expect when I came home that day, as I knew what to expect when I came home on countless other days. The argument had already started. Me and my twin brother assumed our regular positions, me taking my sister to another room and him making sure things would not get too out of hand. He's 4 minutes older than me. That day, things got more out of hand than usual, and the cops were called, a clear sign that we had entered crisis territory. When the police entered our place, they didn't seem too concerned with aiding my mother or taking down her story. They were focused on the cannabis plants we were cultivating at the time. I add that these plants were nowhere close to budding. Some were mother cannabis plants, a specific kind of plant from which cuttings can be taken in order to grow the beautiful product we're accustomed to today. This grow is 100% illegal, but there's no room for understanding these things when it's much easier and much more profitable to break up a family and lock people up. The police were ignorant to the realities of marijuana and used it against us. Later on, when it was brought out that they had wrongfully destroyed our plants, They claimed it was to do with hazardous chemicals we were using, when in actuality our techniques were organic. They didn't understand that this plant had put food on my table countless times. They didn't understand that this plant had kept us in motel rooms when we had no place to go. They didn't understand that this plant helps alleviate the years of trauma their system has inflicted. They chose instead to continue inflicting that trauma. "That house is filthy," I heard one cop loudly remark. It was a little cluttered, but I thought filthy was a bit much. They wrongfully removed my twin brother, my younger sister, and I from our parents. They arrested my father, and I guess for good measure, my mother as well. They walked my twin brother to their patrol car in handcuffs for fear he would run away. My older brother, Jose, put it nicely when he said, "We really called the cops on our dad for hitting our mom, and they took our mom to jail." I didn't tell this story because I wanted to make you all sad, but because it is by extension the story of how I qualified for the Guardian Scholars Program here at UC Davis. An amazing program that works to uplift former foster youth here in this university setting that seems to work so forcefully against us. This year I started working there as their graphics and social media coordinator, and I get to do it alongside a truly remarkable staff. I vocalize my experiences through my design and my photography. The system gifted me these prolonged times of grief, but I'm now going to use them to my advantage by taking my inspiration from them. In doing so, I validate my own experience because I now understand that truly beautiful and creative things could be made from them. I feel a bit more like one of those beautiful things because, like the artwork I create and the work I hope to do, much of my identity was formed by my low-income experience. Thank you.
I'm the daughter of a daycare provider. I know the meaning of service. I'm the daughter of a night shift custodial manager who oversees 8 buildings, one of them being part of San Jose State University. You can argue about the price of the value of what they do, but not the service. Service, social service, social institutions. What service does UC Davis provide? A business law professor from Foothill College once told my class, colleges are just like any other business. Business? What does that mean? Now I know. UC Davis follows the business cycle. When the economy does well, things are good. But when things are bad, things get real bad, worse. Things do not get worse on their own. UC Davis, what is your role? UC Davis is part of the University of California system for the state of California, the largest economy in the US and the 5th largest economy in the world. Public higher education is a big reason for this. A system that began with free tuition to help California residents, of course not all residents. Now I'm reading articles titled UC System Reaching an Existential Tipping Point, a detailed historical analysis of the 150-year-old UC system funding model, once based on enrollment workload. Since the 1970s, state funding has dramatically fallen and has continued to do so in 2004 and in 2011. Now students make up the largest revenue source for the UC system. Most students have some form of mental health issue. Why? No, not why. Why do you ask why without looking at the institution? UC Davis professors don't teach. Once an astronomy professor from Foothill College began his class with this and said, this is what most professors will do once they get comfortable. The monetization of Traxylene. It is very important that you learn about Traxylene. Traxylene is a new form of Ziantir. It is monetized in Christiana. The Christiana is bristling large amounts of Fevon and then bracer it to quarrel Traxylene. Traxylene may well be one of our most localized resources in the future because our Ziantir, let's go whatever. Exam. Answer the following questions in complete sentences. What is Traxylene? Where is Traxylene monetized? How is Traxylene fossilized? Why is it important to know about Traxylene? This reminds me of somewhere. They say American students score worse than their counterparts. I say this is a teaching effect, not a student one. UC Davis is a research institution, the research institution. UC Davis research, is it helpful? Or is it chasing money, chasing grants, chasing patents? Research, what is your research? I get it, you're tired. Administration, bureaucracy, I get it, you're smart. I get it, you have an education from an Ivy League school. Please teach. I'm going to take a wild guess and predict this is a UC-wide problem. Do we need a shock to the system? What needs to happen for you to recognize there's a problem? Negligence. How do you treat others because you are stressed? How do you treat your students? How do you make others feel? I get it, you're stressed too, but what about me? I am one of many. Yes, children of college-educated parents are more likely to go to college, but first-generation students are the fastest growing. But actually, this. The reduction in investment came as public colleges enrolled more students of color. Ironically, the total share of people going to college has fallen. UC Davis and all UCs ask students, why should we want you? UC Davis attracts talent, then ask, why do you care about that A? Imposter syndrome. No, it's you. You attract students to increase your weight, your brand, your revenue. You are creative. UC Davis does not teach, yet UC Davis tuition is student tuition. After that, it's grants and it's patents. They say American students score worse than their counterparts. I say this is a teaching effect, not a student one. We build large gyms and pretty quotes. I'm sure I have back pain from UC Davis's library. I feel like I entered UC Davis in the 1960s, but to think about it, I'd probably not be here and I'd probably not be paying what I'm paying now. To think about it, I'm paying for the library's research articles. UC Davis professors don't teach. You're making it easier for economies to displace you. Soft skills, I can get the data on my own. I'm looking for a professor, lost and can't be found. If you are great, you are the outlier. An institutional problem is not an individual one. The second I entered EOP, a place for first-generation students from low socioeconomic status, I could not breathe. Principles of community, okay. It sounds more ideological than anything I have seen. Graduate students, the same graduate students behind those grants and patents, don't receive credit, don't get paid a living wage, and don't even get powers. All of a sudden, you care about students and how their wall strike will affect us. You became a Hispanic Learning Institute. Hispanics make up the largest share of first-generation students. Are you prepared? Do you even care? Student employees at the Coho Coffee House don't get paid. They get loans. New Tech, where are those $175 million UC hit? California is funding a surplus of $7 billion next year. I wonder where they will end up in. My economic professor once told my class, if you break a window, GDP grows, but the economy stays the same. At UC Davis, we say we need immigrants, but can't even pay the men and women who work in our farms a living wage. Not taking into consideration the loopholes migrants need to pass, increased nativism, and death at the border. Wages increase, let us simply automate. We are too busy leaving Earth and heading to space. I have no problem with space, I just wish we weren't running away. UC Davis follows the business cycle. The fourth industrial revolution, have you heard of it? Economic transformations. Economies always find their way, and when they do, the cost will always be higher. Unique just like you. What is your service, UC Davis? I read this from my mother, and she said, you're paying for the name. But contrary to what you may believe, I'm still looking for a service. University of California, I'm here to remind you, you have a role. You have agency. Thank you.
I have the love of a racehorse. I have the heart of a beating drum. I am scared and I am nervous, but that's the purpose of being here. I have the love of a racehorse. I have the heart of a beating drum. A day in the life of a UC Davis student. Where do I start? First, I have to think about everything I've overcome, starting from jealous classmates to my unmotivating friends that are now acquaintances, and everything else that will not be named. Entering UC Davis, I didn't know what to expect, but now that I'm here, I love it. Although I'm being challenged every day in every aspect of my being, I wouldn't want it any other way. My family has fought for me to be able to follow my dreams and have sacrificed so many long drives, bus rides, and economic hardships on the account of me. And God has watched over us in order for me to achieve my destiny. So I'm here at UC Davis, making my mark, and with my education is where I will start. I have memories that I have subconsciously pushed out of my mind, but they come back and set me in a mindset of darkness that disturbs my level of peace, my level of happiness, my level of sanity. My mother was and possibly still is a crack addict that didn't want to leave that lifestyle for her children. My father's sister had to raise me because my father was a previous gangbanger and was shot multiple times, one bullet making it to his head, causing him to be easily irritant and angry, which resulted in him not being able to raise me on his own. My family was homeless during my 3rd grade and 5th grade years. We lived in hotels and occasionally motels, but we rarely slept in the car. My aunt, who I call my mother, has been sick for most of my life, and there was a time when I thought she was going to die. It seemed like we were always in a hospital, and I grew accustomed to it. But now I feel weird when I enter one, and I have to remind myself that my mother is fine. She's okay. She's at home, lying in bed, playing her favorite game. Those were a few stories from my past, and I have a lot more, but my purpose for sharing them with you is that no matter how hard life is, you don't have to give up. You don't have to bend to its will. You make your own decisions, and the sky is the limit. I have many life experiences that I could have used to take pity on myself, but I said no, and I wanted to make my family proud, and I wanted to make something of myself. I rose above what life served me on a silver platter, but what will you do? I have the love of a racehorse. I have the heart of a beating drum. I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm standing here all alone, but I'm grateful for being here. Thank you.
How do you feel now?
I think I did pretty well. I didn't curse as much as I thought I was going to, but I feel pretty good about it.
I felt like I looked like a cherry tomato on stage, but other than that, the delivery was nice. I feel good, and the nerves are cool.
I feel like a rush of excitement, relieved. I don't know, I've been holding this for a long time and I just feel so proud of myself now. Yeah.
I feel amazing. Like, that went much better than I thought it would, so I feel like I'm on fire.
Super, just loving who I am.
I feel kind of relieved. I got nervous, but I had to read a lot of my poem off the paper, which I don't typically do, but I was overcome with fear. But overall, I feel good now.
I feel grateful to have been able to share my experience with other people, and I'm glad that I could tell that it resonated with other people, so I'm glad that they got to feel relation to me.
Well, satisfied it's over, but I wish it was more of a free verse prose instead of having to look at the paper the whole time. But they enjoyed it, and that's the best I could ask for.
I'm happy with myself. I'm still calm, still chilling, but I did it, so good stuff, bro. Good stuff.
I'm feeling relieved. I feel like I needed to do this. It was definitely like, it's just a feeling that I have never had. I've never been exposed to that many people at the same time. I feel great. I feel really motivated. I just wanted to continue. I just wanted to hear everyone else, and feeling great.
I feel good. I feel relieved now that I've done it. It didn't go as planned, but I mean, I'm really happy with it, so I feel good.
Feel pretty shaky and pretty good. That was really empowering. I'm happy to have gotten to share that with so many people.
I feel extremely thankful, and I'm looking forward for change to happen. Thank you.
I feel content. I'm very happy. I feel like a big weight has been lifted off my chest. I'm not nervous anymore, probably because it's already done, but I'm happy. Yeah.
At this moment, I would like to bring out all of the participants tonight to the stage. If you can please join me in giving them another round of applause. Thank you. I also want to give a big special acknowledgement to my counterpart, Christina Jackson. Please come up, Christina. Yes. This is no easy feat to put together, and Christina has put a lot of time, energy, her heart, her spirit into building a community, representing the community, and I just want to acknowledge that because that's what we're about at EOP, and I hope that you all felt the community that we have here tonight. Thank you for joining us and being here with all of us here on stage tonight. And if you have any parting words.
First, I just want to thank all of the students. This has been a labor of love for me, but it's actually been a hard process. Many of the students told me that nobody's ever asked them their story. And that part to me was heartbreaking in itself, but at least they can say that that part is gone. But I truly want to thank each and every one of you for committing for your last 5 Thursdays to come spend time with me and each other. And y'all did amazing. Didn't they do amazing? So the first generation college celebration continues. As you know, last year after the performances, we published a book of all the students' stories. So look out for EOP Days in the spring when we will be releasing our 2nd edition. So, thank you so much. For those of you who came to see people here today, we will have kind of a small debrief and reception over at the EOP Cottage. Y'all know it's little, so it's limited space. But if you want to come over and personally thank any of the students that shared their story with you today, we welcome you. Thank y'all so much, and we'll see you next time.